here we are. So,
Who's the appointment papers for?
me,
For which hat?
all of them, they're due.
What's in a corrected assessment warrant?
I'll explain that. It has to do with one of the issues that we're going to be discussing tonight.
You hear me?
Yep,
Okay.
Craig, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can.
I can't see myself, but I don't know if you can. Can you see me? Okay.
You hold
Yeah.
on.
No, I don't see me
Yeah.
either.
Try that.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and Judy, are you admin?
I don't know.
I think you are. I'm gonna send you a thing.
To start my video.
Come up. There you go.
There we go.
Let's see.
John on?
I don't see him yet, but it might be one of these numbers I'm looking.
Hi, Judy.
Hi there, Hadley.
You used to say, can you hear me now? But I'm saying, can you see me now?
Right. I can
John, the
see you in the
6
corner.
603 number. Hi there. Are you on? Okay, let me send you another link. I'll try to send you the link again.
Chris is trying to send a link to John to make sure he's on.
Good.
Okay. So John, what's your name on this? Yeah, so are you Pixel 3? Okay,
I'm unmuted now.
There you are. Whoops.
There you are, John.
Okay.
All right, so Judy, if you want to get started, Craig is with us, but let's go through our normal thing, a normal process, and then Craig is first on the agenda, so.
Okay. We'll call this meeting to order and listen to the minutes of the previous meetings.
So this is Hadley reading the minutes. It's Selectmen's meeting minutes done on Zoom, April 21st, 2020, 5 PM at the town office. Present were Judy Elton, attended by Zoom. John Heichel, attended by Zoom. Hadley present at the office, and for staff, Chris Littlefield. Several citizens also attended by Zoom or phone. First item, Hadley read the minutes. Motion to amend the minutes dated April 7th, 2020. Add 3-0 for the motion for Somerset Elementary. And then we voted 3-0 accept, and it was done by roll call. Motion to accept minutes as amended April 7th, 2020. Voted 3-0 to accept, and also by roll call. Under unfinished business, none. And then we went to new business. Chris shared audit report with the selectmen and noted per the request of the auditor that the draft copy is not to be reproduced or shared until final draft done. Motion for Chris to sign the town road side mowing contract with Aggressive Cuts, which is Rick Drew, on behalf of the selectmen, and voted 3-0, all to accept by roll call. Motion for Chris to continue as road commissioner / manage the road budget duties as we have in the past. Voted Hadley and Judy voted to accept. John voted no, and that was done by roll call. Reviewed the town warrant articles for the 2020-2021 budget season, and town meeting date is not set yet. Motion to maintain the interest rate for the late real estate tax payments at 7%, and then we voted 3-0 to accept by roll call. And then under other, researching the purchase of our own sweeper from Allied Equipment. Motion to sign the quick claim deeds, the town to Angela Stockwell, and right-of-way, Angela Stockwell, to the town. Documents from 2003 involving the town of Heartland and Angela Stockwell, property on Great Moose Drive, and then we voted 3-0 to accept, also by roll call. Can selectmen review the emergency management plan, and Chris to forward a copy and put on next agenda? When will ITCC building be transferred from KV Cap? Chris said subdivision plan must be approved by the planning board first. We signed warrants. Hadley signed the warrants, and then John and Judy to stop in on the 22nd. Motion to adjourn at 6:30 p.m. Voted 3-0 to accept, also by roll call. Respectfully submitted, Chris Littlefield, town manager. I move we accept as read.
I second that motion.
All those in favor by roll call? Judy said aye.
John, aye.
Hadley, yes.
Okay, the next thing here is the questions on the audit, and we have Craig Costello. Craig, is it Brantner and Thibodeau?
Thibodeau.
Associates?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Brantner and Thibodeau Associates is the name of the firm. Craig Costello is the auditor, and Craig is here to answer the questions any questions the selectmen may have here.
Great. Hi, Craig.
Hi.
Craig,
Yes. Yeah.
Craig, this is
Yeah.
John.
John.
Yeah, I've got just a couple. I mean, you did a great.
Sure.
This is a real audit. This is a real financial statement for a town, and this is really good to see. Craig, could you tell me? And I can't. I'm just because it's so much to read, and I'm not really familiar with how you do it. But what were the total auditing adjustments? What were the total auditing adjustments? Adjustments.
Do you mean like the number or just in total? I mean like dollar
Yeah,
value or?
Yeah, the dollar value. What was the total auditing adjustment?
Well, I can't give a dollar figure because it's so many different variables and different directions of it because it's just affecting different, different areas. So, I mean, you're talking, I don't know. For the most part, it related to the new funding and the new grant, the new grants coming in and the grant expenditures as well as the proceeds from that. And so a large part of it was that. So you're talking in the millions because of that. So it's kind of a lot of just a reclassification and to more proper accounting of it. Not saying it wasn't there, just kind of directing it to the proper accounts.
So you got all the bank reconciliations?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then going over to the second page on the letter that you sent.
Yes.
Couple questions on that because could you define significant deficiency? And I'm reading this, and I've seen a lot of these before, but I just wanted for you to clarify.
Yeah. So
especially on grant reconciliations and reimbursements and your closing procedures.
So there are different levels, obviously, of findings. One is there's material weakness, and then there's significant deficiency, and then there's other matters. So this is on that middle level, the one that you're referring to, and that's relating to a lot of the adjustments that we had. And it didn't rise to the level of material weakness because that would be if there was no records at all transpiring within the town, or there was a significant adjustments that affected the overall financial statements as a whole. And so I didn't think it rose to that level. But it was significant enough to have a finding. And it's required on my end when that takes place. I need to issue a finding. It's a very common finding. I see it quite often in many towns, to be quite honest. And many towns have a lot of material weaknesses as well.
Right.
So that's I hope that answers that question. Yeah. So
right.
Yeah, it's just on the middle level.
It's not answered to my satisfaction. What I really want to know is, having been involved in these types of audits before.
Yep.
In your opinion, is this more procedural as opposed to something very serious that was either overlooked or negligent?
Absolutely procedural. So I've gone over at great length with Susan and Chris over the new funding, the new things coming in, new expenditures, and that whole project. They've understood my adjusting entries, and we've also just already discussed going forward into this new year and ensuring that what's being recorded is in the right buckets, so to speak. And it's not distortive in any way. It's just more of knowledge over certain areas, new areas, I guess, is what I also took a harder look at it too, a little bit more in depth because of the dollar values of the monies flowing in.
Right.
Yeah.
You had mentioned you've been meeting with Susan and Chris, which is great. Thank you very much, because there's nothing better than that to get this thing done correctly. books.
Yeah, because I told Susan I don't want to, I want to make it so it doesn't show up again. So
Right. So in your opinion, everything is being improved here as far as closing plans, and we're
Yep.
making changes to adapt to what you're talking about?
yeah, and Susan and I have already gone over we've already proved out the records to this audit on her end, because as you know, she has the QuickBooks, which has the landfill and the treatment plant on, in separate books outside of Trio.
Right.
And then you have your town operating. So we also discussed the possibility of shifting those into the Trio program as well. So you guys see the whole picture in the same format. And that was one of the difficulties as well encountered is merely because you have that system in place on having those QuickBooks being separate from, the town books, which is, just complicated even more. So.
Then my other question, and forgive me for not understanding this, but I have no idea what low-risk oddity means.
It's just because you are the first time in a long time having a single audit. So it's required in the first year. So next year that you wouldn't have that necessarily.
What does that mean, low risk?
Low risk, high risk. That is just meaning that when the federal government hands out awards, it classifies the entity who's receiving the awards based on high or low risk, and it's an automatic high risk when in the first year of having a single audit in receiving grant funds. So they just automatically put you in a high risk category, which makes us have to test more. So we have to test more of the grant funding. So in this case, we pretty much tested all of the grant monies coming in.
It just surprised me because we have done so well with finances coming in with these things that we just want to make sure that you're satisfied with our movement going forward.
Yeah, that piece on page 55 of the audit has nothing to do with, in this case, has nothing to do with the town. It is automatic in the first year to not qualify. So it's the only reason. Yeah. Okay.
So I guess my last question is, since this is your first time with auditing us, are you comfortable that this audit is complete and well done?
Comfortable with what I have received in the trial and all that, you mean? And
yeah.
At this point, yes.
In general, are you satisfied?
Yes, absolutely.
Overall?
Yes. Yeah. And overall, I got to say the record keeping was phenomenal. So, and in fact, especially for the first year of the grant awards, the record keeping on the grants was above what I've seen people having it in the first time, having this amount of fun. Yeah. So
that's good to hear. Right.
Yeah.
And will be. Go ahead.
Sorry, the deficiencies that you found, I have to know this.
Yeah.
Just being part of this whole thing, are they reprimandable?
No, you mean it's not going to affect you in any way?
I think he means reprimandable with employees. Should employees?
Oh, no. Honestly, it has to do with accounting and auditing, and a large part of it is because it's basically to have had to have understood the financials in a way of my level, and so I think it would never have it. It's not something against anybody, I guess is what I want to say. It's purely.
That's really the reason I'm asking, because we're accountable for these things, and I just want to make sure that if something needed to happen based on something happening here wrong, we would want to address that. But
Absolutely. Yeah, no, the biggest thing is just ensuring that procedures are in place and processes are in place for the correct recording of things going forward now that there is knowledge of it. And now, and that there were corrections and and that you're going to have similar transactions occur in 1920 fiscal year. So those would just have to be ensured that, have making sure that Chris is on top and inquiring of Susan that, they're up to date and they've taken a look at those transactions to ensure that they're being recorded appropriately. And that's in conjunction with me. I do it a lot for a lot of towns is I tell them it's not, you don't have to do this on your own. It's just, I have a, back and forth throughout the year with many different treasurers or bookkeepers or accountants at towns just to keep ensuring that they keep it straight on their end so that it doesn't come to the audit and you have this. So.
Right.
I appreciate you being candid about this. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, very nice. And the Board of Selectmen review, town's Board of Selectmen are not reviewing any reporting, including?
Yep. I strongly, wanted that to be suggested that,
Right.
once we immediately found that out, I thought you guys should be doing that. So.
Yeah, monthly rather than quarterly. I mean, even
Yep.
it's been annually just up until now.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, we should be looking at this monthly.
Yep.
I completely agree with that.
Yep.
Is there a percentage of fund balance that a town can keep in their accounts?
There's no restrictions, but there's recommendations. So they recommend about 10% of your budget of your municipal appropriation.
Right.
Or another higher end one would be typically is a 3 months of operating funds.
Right.
So
250,000 would be a sufficient number
Mhm.
to keep in their fund balance. Something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get too tight, but
No, that's pretty standard. I mean, that's standard minimum.
Yep.
That's comfortable.
yeah, yep.
Okay, great. I mean, I've been looking at this, reading it over and over. And I'm just extremely impressed with. It's what I'm used to looking at.
Well, it's a lot of pages.
Well, it is, but it's a lot of numbers and it's comprehensive and
Yeah.
and all the answers are right here.
Yep.
And I'm really pleased with the work you did.
Yep.
So
Oh, thank you.
I don't know the work of previous, but I'm really pleased
Sure.
with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Greg, can I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah.
Just for points of clarification. You just said a minute ago, fund balance would be 10% or 3 months of a 3 months of total cost of operation. For us,
Yeah.
3 months is 750,000.
Yeah, I was just good. Yeah, I know. I heard 250 there.
I'm sorry, 250 a month.
Yeah.
250 a month.
So 250 is not really enough for our operation.
No,
That's
exactly.
even not 10%. So I
Correct.
just wanted that point of clarification. The other thing, I'd like you to speak a little bit to the $6,500 that was out there. It's out online that money is missing, and there's a misnomer out there. I would like you to speak to that reference on that $6,500 had to do with revenue that didn't get utilized to reduce taxes. It's based on what the townspeople voted for revenue to reduce taxes. So
it's not missing.
Not only did you identify it, the state of Maine identified it as well, and we've been asked to do an affidavit to correct that. The local government, well, I'll tell you what this is. You're familiar with it. It's the assessor certificate. They want us to redo that and send that back into them.
So you're just going to adjust it through overlay, right?
Yes. And they've requested that of us, and we've got it here tonight for the selectmen to sign. And as a point of clarification, Obviously, we prepare the documents, we put it forward. We just all need to be more aware of that, that when we do that total on the town warrant, we need to turn around and make sure it's all utilized on when we commit taxes.
Yep. You need to cross-check it.
Right. So
Do
it's
that.
not money that's missing. It simply was an error,
No.
right?
Right, sure.
Yep. You've had a couple towns around you that had $150,000 errors on that.
Right,
So,
Right.
right.
65 was minor. It's just I wanted to point it out that it's,
Yeah, so-
it's more of a,
We
it could be
absolutely-
larger.
Yeah, we appreciate that you did point it out. I just wanted to have you state that it's not missing money. It just
No.
wasn't used appropriately.
Correct. It's purely computing the tax commitment.
Right.
So,
Okay, great.
Is everybody satisfied?
Yeah, I'm very satisfied with this.
I'm good to
Thank
go.
you,
Thank
sir.
you for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. and
You're
it's
welcome.
something that-
Yeah. Thank you a lot,
Thank
Craig.
you very,
okay. You're
yes,
welcome.
Thank you very much, Craig. And
Okay.
we appreciate the work you've done.
Thanks.
We've had a great working relationship, and you've taught us several things, and we are moving in a direction to do things better, and we appreciate that. Thank
Right.
you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
All right. You too, guys.
All right.
Good night, Craig.
All right. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any unfinished business?
We have the emergency management plan. I just wanted to mention that I've sent that out to all of you. You all should have received that in an email.
Yes.
We've sent two different versions to you. We sent one that we send to U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and then we sent a second one that we actually get sent in to the county. So there's two plans out there. They both need some updating and some work. We can make them one at some point. There's just been pieces done on one and other pieces done on another. We just need to get one that's updated and in place. The plan itself, you've got the opportunity to review it, and we'll bring it back another time. I just put a note on here to make sure you all received it through your email, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Yes, did receive it.
It's very old, and
It
so
is.
it does need updating. The other thing is, it doesn't cover anything like the COVID-19 virus, because there wasn't such a thing. And I
Right.
don't know what we could do to change it to cover anything like that. I mean, this is a pretty unique situation.
Right.
Well, yeah, the selectmen actually have a power in the state of Maine also to do things that would be unusual, that would be not usual practice in the times of some sort of emergencies as well.
Right,
And
I think it has to be if there is an emergency situation. For example, we know if the dam goes, the downtown's going to be in trouble. We're going to have a reaction plan or action plan for that event. And there's no question we need to keep that up to date and be on top of it.
right. And maybe involve the fire department with that. I assume they would be.
Yeah, the fire department actually has always been involved in it. And in fact, Rusty Dickey, up until a few years ago, was constantly, if you look into some of that information, Rusty's been involved through the fire department and as a member of the fire department, but also he was the emergency director for a time.
Yeah, good to coordinate with them for sure, because they're going to be the front line of it.
Yep.
Are we ready to move on?
I think so.
Well, on that subject, Chris, is there something? Should we plan on some sort of a? I mean, what do we do next? What's the next step to update to take a look at this?
Well, we certainly need to take a look at it. I really believe that we have bigger issues at the moment to worry about. We need to figure out town meeting. We've got to figure out town election. We have some other higher priorities. The fact of the matter is, if we have an emergency, the fire department is going to step up to the plate. The county is going to step up to the plate. Everybody is going to step up. I'm not saying that we should delay it terribly long, but at this point in time, over the next few weeks or next 6 or 8 weeks, we need to pay attention to what we need to get done that is impacting us long term.
Right.
And again, this, I can pick up the phone and call dispatch and they'll be here in 20 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on where they're located. So they're not, the dispatch, they're pretty responsive to us and very helpful. The state police are going to be helpful if we get in an emergency situation. We've never not had support.
Yeah, right.
I think
Okay.
this could-
I agree. We have some pretty big issues looking at us right now that are probably, that need to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my
totally agree.
my suggestion would be that we wait until after we get our town meetings and all of those things straightened away and we're able to meet together as a group. And when
Right.
we get to that point, then we can hash this through and decide what we want to do with it.
Right. In the meantime, I will probably go through this, or one of the girls and I will go through it and just update names and phone numbers, because that really needs to be done. They're old enough, so some of the players aren't involved anymore. That is something we should do no matter what. But then beyond that, we should look at the plan as a whole and see how we want to develop it and build it. In the short term, changing names and phone numbers and contact people is the most important. And that can be done right in this office fairly quickly because we know who all the people are. And that's a matter of a few hours of work and updating it, sending it back to the county so they have an updated copy of names and numbers. But we do want to take a look at the plan as a whole and see, do we want to improve it? What do we want to change? It certainly is something to look at as a whole. Contact numbers should be done immediately. I didn't make that point earlier, and that's something that I want to do in the next couple of weeks, is just get the contact information straightened out and get it up to date.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay, we ready to move on?
Yes,
Yep.
the first one, Judy, on the right of way on the poles on the Biggie Road, that actually is something that had to go to Al. It's a form somebody called me about, and I thought the selectmen had to sign it, but the code enforcement signs it, so we can just skip that. He's going to take care of that.
There we go.
Budget versus actual, you each got a copy of those, that report with your paperwork this time. You should have that in front of you.
Yep.
We don't need to spend a lot of time on it necessarily. I just wanted you to have it so you can review it. If you have questions, please give me a call and we'll talk it through.
Okay.
Well, we've got a good unexpended balance on it, so that's encouraging.
Yeah, you just remember, we still got a couple more months to go, and we do have we'll still have some big bills here the next few months, and we got monies going out today that's not out of that. So there is a big balance there, but it will reduce over the next few months very quickly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
Hey,
What
you know, while we're still on this budget,
Yeah.
Hadley, just to ask Hadley, did you go to First Park, and were you gonna go there and ask them how long we are committed to paying them?
Never had the meeting.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
No,
Right. Okay.
COVID came up, but
Right. they never
actually
have.
I was finally headed, and it got waylaid again, so no.
All
Yeah,
right.
they haven't rescheduled it, as far as I know.
Right.
Now, when we signed that agreement, didn't it say how many years it was?
Yes, and I did request the agreement because I can't put my hands right on it here quickly in the office. I'm sure that it's downstairs somewhere, but I did reach out to the director and ask him for an updated. I never received that. That was right around the same time as COVID, and I'm sure that it went right off his radar. But that is something at some point we need to get a copy of and review. So,
I can tell you we're short timing at this point. It's not very long.
right.
Right. We must be close to the end of that.
Right.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, not on that one.
Now, what are the appointment papers?
The appointment papers are for my positions. Trish sent them out. She said it was time to be reappointed again for these positions. I'll have Hadley read each one of them. They're up here in the top. And you can do a motion on them as a whole or individually, however you would like to do it.
Okay, Chris Littlefield of Heartland in the county of Somerset in the state of Maine, the municipality of Heartland at the last annual meeting, having failed to elect a town manager, we do in accordance with the provisions of the laws of the state of Maine, hereby appoint you town manager within and for the municipality of Heartland for the ensuing year. What's that saying?
Just saying you want me to continue working.
Chris Littlefield of Heartland in the county of Somerset and the state of Maine, the municipality of Heartland at the last annual meeting, having failed to elect an emergency management director. We do in accordance with the provisions of the laws of the state of Maine, hereby appoint you emergency management director within and for the municipality of Heartland for the ensuing year. The municipality of Heartland at the last annual meeting, having failed to elect a director of community development, we do in accordance with the provisions of the laws of the state of Maine, hereby appoint you director of community development within and for the municipality of Heartland for the ensuing year. The next one is the same wording for road commissioner within and for the municipality of Heartland for the ensuing year. Also, in accordance with provisions of the laws of the state of Maine, hereby appoint you tax collector within and for the municipality of Heartland for the ensuing year. And lastly, treasurer within and for the municipality of Heartland for the ensuing year. So I'll review those for you. Treasurer, tax collector, road commissioner, director of community development, emergency management director, and of course, town manager. Having done this, and it's been this way, I make a motion that we accept these positions for Chris Littlefield.
I will
I have
second.
just a quick discussion on that. I know we always do that, and a lot of towns do this. Have we ever put any of this out to the public to give anybody an opportunity to respond to it, or that may have an interest in any one of those positions?
You mean to pay separately and not part of his already salary?
Yes.
No, that's not what it, well,
See, these jobs are all done. These jobs are all done under his salary. And if we break it out, we'd have to pay other people to do those jobs.
Plus,
So
you're
it-
saying that it hasn't been done correctly, and it has been, so why make a move?
And I seconded. All those in favor?
Well, we need to do a little bit more discussion if you
we
want.
haven't really finished discussing it. I mean, I'm just asking, and I'm not saying it's a bad job. I'm just saying, have we ever put it out there for people of the town. I've been asked that question many times.
Well, we
And
used to, John, all of those positions in the past they can either be elected or appointed. These positions are appointed. That's why you have the right to give me the position if you choose to. If it was elected, you'd have no say in it whatsoever.
Correct.
The public would vote on who they wanted it to be. So the town years ago went ahead and made it an appointed position. So because it's required by law to have these positions, somebody has to wear the hat and respond.
Correct.
So if we were going to put it out for the public, for somebody else to try it, you got to change the process through town meeting and do it as an elected situation.
And it would cost the town more money.
So we couldn't appoint somebody else, in other words.
We
Well,
can,
you-
but it would cost us money.
Yes, you can appoint somebody else if you choose to, absolutely.
I'm just asking, have we ever put it out there before, let's say, the night that you're looking for, that the board's looking for a motion to accept and put it to the town meeting? Have we ever put it out there in a public
Not for,
newsletter?
I don't think, during Peggy's time, she had these, the only one that's gone back and forth that I know about versus elected and appointed was a road commissioner. And that's the only position the town manager hasn't had in this town since Peggy Morgan started in the earlier days, as far as I know.
Me too. That's the only thing I've ever known of to be appointed.
I
The
see.
road commission.
I know elected, it was elected.
Yeah, the road commissioner was elected, and the town manager has always filled
Town
those.
manager has to be appointed. Town manager is appointed.
Town manager is appointed to
Yeah.
those positions and has been for a long time.
Yep.
Okay.
It
All
can
right.
be changed. You can be changed. You can ask somebody else to do it. And so just so you know, in a community like Waterville, Brewer, Bangor, they pay every single one of these titles. They have a person that sits in that position. And they're
Right.
probably paying them $30,000 or $40,000 a piece, every one.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with all that, sure.
Right, so the road commissioner that left here, the last road commissioner that left here, well, one of them didn't do much work. He got 12 or 15,000 one year, but prior to that, the road commissioner was getting $26,000, $20,000 to $26,000 a year out of a $50,000 budget.
Right. Yeah. All right. No, I understand it. Just asking if we've ever given an opportunity for anyone else to have that position, but
Yep.
I think the answer is no, we haven't. So we need a motion.
Only the road commissioner.
Only the road commissioner, that's
Yeah,
right.
as far as I know.
Yep,
Yeah.
me too.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm okay with it. I guess we'll just do it for,
A roll call vote.
Hadley, yes.
Judy, yes.
John, yes.
It is a vote.
Want me to sign these while I'm right here?
Yes, please.
Now, what is the corrected assessment warrant?
That is that $6,500 I was just talking about with
Oh.
I had Craig speak about. It's the $6,500 had to do with revenue. And because we didn't use it, it didn't come onto this form either. So it has to be adjusted, and this request is coming from the state of Maine. They're asking us to adjust it, and Susan's done the paperwork on it for the adjustment, so. It's an affidavit to correct local government record, stating that that total value, the adjustment's being made here for that total value, and I should have brought that total value with me, but I didn't grab it.
That will be available for John and I to sign.
Yes, tomorrow. I'd just like to
Yeah.
have a motion for you guys to sign it, so we can document that, and then you can sign it tomorrow. And again, it's the same exact paperwork that you signed to commit taxes. It's just adjusted by that $6,500.
And we had an explanation from the auditor, so I'm okay with it.
Hey, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we sign the, what was that document called?
It's
The-
called an affidavit to correct local government record.
Affidavit to correct local government record. I'll make a motion.
Seconded.
I'll second it. All those in favor? Roll
Aye.
call
I'm
vote.
sorry. John, aye.
Judy says, Judy, aye.
Hadley, yes.
Okay, it's been a vote.
Okay.
Okay,
The one other thing I have under other is town elections. So we have, I spent some time last week talking with MMA and trying to figure out how we have a town meeting. And it's going to be a major challenge until the governor allows more than 50 people, because they are not relaxing the rules for a meeting. And therefore, you know, we've been having 100 to 150 people pretty steady. So it's going to be a challenge to put 150 chairs out 6 feet apart and have a meeting. It puts us in a little bit of a we have some challenges with that. We've got a $3.5 million funding package we need to discuss and let the public vote on. We have a TIF and a credit enhancement package we need to look at. We have a property maintenance ordinance we need to look at. We have CDBG funding we need to look at. All of those things have nothing to do with the budget. So we can't really make solid decisions on them until we have a special town meeting. So at this point, the only thing that we sat and talked about it, Tristan, Susan and I, how could we handle municipal election so we could at least do the election? And we talked over the pros and cons of doing it through the week. We've talked about how we're going to manage it, because many of the folks who work helping the registrar, the election workers, are older, and some have already expressed they do not want to be a part of it because of COVID-19. So we have the challenge of personnel. We have the challenge with social distancing. So we said, okay, we want to suggest a compromise and see what you guys think about it. The thought was that we do a Saturday morning from 8 to 12. We are picking June 20th so that we have plenty of time to do absentee balloting. We feel like we should advertise and promote absentee balloting very aggressively so that we minimize the number of people that have to pass through the voting booths. If people want to get through there, we will get them through, but we're going to have to monitor how many people go in the building. We're going to have to monitor when they go out. It's going to have to be a controlled situation. We're picking 8 to noon on a Saturday to maximize the number of people so that it's not a daytime. Plus, it frees up town employees so we can be a part of the process to help Trish. Susan and I are both going to have to be involved, most likely. I've already told her I will manage the traffic outside with people coming in. They may get enough people so I don't have to be involved at all, but there's no way to know that at this point in time. So Susan's definitely got to be involved. Kim is leaving us. Her last day is May 14th, so she won't be a part of the process. So again, we've got the challenges of trying to get through. We don't really want to wait until the primary vote because there's so many things going on that day. So What we're suggesting is to set a town election, June 20th, 8 a.m. to noon, with promoting absentee ballot from 5:21 to 6:18. And if you will accept that. And there's a warrant here for a municipal election that goes over all of that in detail. And obviously, we would in fact advertise it so everybody's aware of the process.
I would also suggest if people have to wear a mask.
Oh, we're gonna have to do that. Yeah, masks, and we're gonna have to do stuff to protect people. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of wiping down, a lot of sterilizing everything.
So
Oh boy, I know this is just.
But everybody can get an absentee ballot. I know that's what I will do.
right. So one other thing that I didn't mention, what we're talking about doing is seeing if we can get this drive-through operational. That would help the absentee balloting process. And we have talked about that. Can we get this thing operational so people can drive up? We feel that would be helpful as well. Not just for ballot reasons, but for service as well. And that is something that's on our agenda to try to get going. But that will, if we could have a large folks that want to vote absentee ballot, it will be helpful as far as managing people. Now,
This election thing, just so I know, this is for the open position for a select person.
Yes.
What else?
There would be, I think there's some budget committee people, and I also think that there's a school board position.
Okay, strictly election.
It's strictly
Got nothing to do with
municipal.
warrants.
Has nothing to do with the warrants, it's strictly municipal.
Right.
Strictly a municipal process. Yeah.
Is there going to be enough time? I mean, this is everything has been on hold.
Right.
Is there going to be enough time is there going to be a fair amount of time to have enough time to get the word out? Because not many people have been talking about anything right now because nobody was sure of what the date's going to be.
Well, this is the 1st of May, so they're going to have like a month and a half to get out there and do whatever they need to.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
This is
so if
the
COVID
4th of May.
hadn't come along, we would have done the elections.
I know.
Would have been this
Yeah.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a whole. I know. Believe me, this is.
But I would encourage people to do absentee, and I think opening up that window is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
How about the beginning of July? Give them 2 months.
Well, the election papers came out in February, right? January, February.
Right.
So they've had that whole time to campaign.
Yeah, I don't think we need to give them more time. People were doing a lot of work before, and now they can do
Right.
whatever.
They're just gonna have to
They
get,
need
they're gonna have to get directed on it. I mean, trying to push it into July gets us closer to the other primary, and that's what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to spread them out a little bit because it's going to take quite a bit to manage the primary.
Hey, John.
Is the state primaries in June, or when is that? Or July?
July
That's right.
14th.
That's right. Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned with the amount of time left based on the amount of time that's already passed. What I'm concerned is that we have a process that's clean enough, safe enough for everybody to pass through and get the thing done correctly where we can all have confidence that it was done efficiently. That's my
Right.
concern.
I agree, Hadley. It's just, I know. It's just, this is just a really new experience. But if we have to do it, and it's got to be somehow, and this may be one of the best ways to do it. I just want to make sure that every candidate that is because everybody's had everything on hold, I just want to make sure every candidate has a sufficient amount of time. And I know they have had 3 months and they should have done it by now. I get it. But I just want to make sure that we don't.
Well, why would you have a campaign on hold when you have more time? That doesn't make sense to me. If I was campaigning, I'd have been using this time nonstop.
I would agree with you 100%.
You should,
you-
that's what you did. You did an awesome job with it.
Right.
But you and I aren't running. So I just want to make sure that everybody has a fair, but we pick
Well,
a date
They've
and we
had
do it.
more time than normal. They've had more time than normal.
Exactly.
I understand. I'm not resisting this. I'm just making sure that everybody will have sufficient time to run an effective campaign. That's
Right.
all. And if, but we have to get it done, and there aren't a lot of choices right now because of what's going on.
Right.
They could put a flyer in the Rolling Thunder. There's all kinds of things they could do, and they have plenty of time to do that.
I know. The reality is, the last 3 weeks of an election is the key time. Nobody thinks about it before then, but the last 2 or 3 weeks is when everybody starts to get engaged in it.
Right. And we're 6 weeks out, so.
I get it. I know. To me, there's plenty of time. I just want to make sure that everyone else understands, or thinks that, or knows that there's plenty of time. So,
Yeah.
I know. I hear you.
Are you ready for a motion at this point to get
Yes,
this thing through?
because you get motion to sign the warrant for municipal election.
I make a
For
motion.
for June 21st.
June 20th,
June
which is
20th.
Saturday.
Saturday, June 20th.
Yes.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of choices. And I know Hadley wants to get on.
Wants to what?
Get on with your free time.
We're on my free time right now.
I know, right? This is overtime.
I move we have our town elections June 20th done by absentee ballot, 8 a.m. till noon.
And regular ballot.
And regular ballot.
Sorry,
yes.
and regular ballot. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Judy.
So the poll will be open. Will the poll be open on the 20th for 4
Yes.
hours?
4
If you want to
hours.
go in and vote. If you want to go in and
Yes.
vote.
Yes. 8 a.m. to 12.
Yes.
Yep.
And we don't now. Is this going to affect anything if the governor gives another 30 days or gives more time?
I don't think so, because we got to control it and have less than 10 people in the building today. By May 31st, you're allowed to have 50. You just have to be 6 feet apart. So I think by July, unless there's a problem, we should be pretty free to move people through pretty quickly. May 31st, depending on where the statistics are at, she's going to open it up to 50 people instead of 10 in a group. So,
But even if it was 10, you could move them through fairly quickly.
you can.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have any doubt we can get the election done. My whole concern. There's no door to door. There's no door knocking. There's no time for a real effective campaign, and I just want to make sure that everyone understands that, because part of the campaigning is to go out and meet the people, shake their hands, knock on their door, and that is just not happening now. And that can't happen through the end of May
Still go up,
at the minimum.
they can still go up to the dump and stand outside and talk to somebody through their car window or truck window. They can still, as long as they're social distancing, they can still do a lot.
Right.
You're pretty far away if you're calling somebody on the phone.
Yeah, that's right. You can call a lot of people.
I get it. I get it. I just.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote on that then. Did I hear a second?
I think
I'll
made the
I'll
motion.
second it. All those in favor by roll call?
Hadley, yes.
Judy, yes?
Yeah, John, yes.
It is a vote.
It's go time, that's for sure, for everybody.
Okay, does anybody else have anything under other?
I have just a question under other. Shoot.
While you're thinking of that, I wanted to talk about the road repair that everybody's waiting for out there. Had a conversation with Chris about time when that could be started out there, and he was going to check into it, so I'll
Yep.
let him talk.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing grading. Grading will start midweek this week and go through the weekend, and may take a couple weekends to get through the grading part of it, because one of the contractors graders works weekends only, and he works another job as well. But we're doing some of it this week. Some of it will be done over the weekend. The actual process of coming and working on Fuller Corner is going to start towards the end of May, 1st of June. That's the best that he can give me for a date as of today. This morning I spoke with him based on his workload. So right at this point in time, we're looking at getting out there the 1st of June. So I'll be working on trying to get lined up with paving contractors and so forth. We're going to go up through there and do the work we need to do, and then try to go right along and pave it. So we're going to start on Fuller Corner. I will have I have a road plan that I've worked on. I am 90% done. I just need a few minutes to review it and tweak it. And then I'll present it to you so everybody has a copy of it. And we'll have it as a part of the meeting here. So I'll make it a goal to have it on the next agenda.
Okay.
If there isn't anything else,
Hold on, I disappeared. Wait a minute. Can you still hear me?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Got it back. Okay.
I'll have a motion to end the meeting if everybody's happy.
John's still looking at something, Judy. Hold on just a minute.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just, darn it.
you're having a senior moment, John.
No, I didn't write it down. I was, darn it. No, I can't remember. I can't remember it now.
Doesn't that make me mad when that happens? I
I know,
that.
right?
Yes.
So
I know.
I will bring up one thing under other. I watched, and John watched intently, and Bruce watched intently the street sweeper. Listen to me, street sweeper. There we go. It looks like the first time around, the guy operating it wasn't a professional at it, and he left a little bit behind him. But my goodness, what a unit! We have a decision to make coming right out. Not necessarily tonight for sure, but if there's any negotiating from that 15,000 down, from watching him do it today and then dump it today, you can't even imagine how much dirt comes out of that unit. He only did one full street, well, a street and a half, and he had like 2.5, 3 yards of stuff. It's ridiculous, but anyway, I watched it. John watched it. I don't know if John can talk for himself, obviously, but I was very impressed with its operation, the way it's a diesel engine. It sounds like it just come out of the shop. And he explained the uses of all the brushes and longevity of it. I paid close attention to that because this will be another maintenance thing. If we add it to our fleet, something that we have right here for us to do whatever with, it does one heck of a job. So that's for another meeting, I understand, but I did want to report on it. John, if you want to give your side of it, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Hadley. I did like it. It's a nice unit. We do the street sweeping. Right right now the sand goes into the ditch and it just piles up and it doesn't really ever get picked up as efficiently as this certainly will. Always the concern is, are we going to have to hire somebody else? Do we have the manpower to do it? There's a cost. We're probably going to be 150 to 300 hours streets cleaning all the streets. That's a general estimate of time. So in the dollar amounts, $6,000, $10,000, $12,000, whatever, something more, and just to have manpower. But I'm sure we probably spend close to that and don't have anywhere near as good a job done. So
I would just say this, as a select group, over the course of the last couple, 2-3 years, we have purposely added to our fleet slowly but surely. All of a sudden, we're doing our own snow plowing, we're doing our own roads, we're doing some repair. And now this is just another thing to add to our fleet that we don't have to go bumming around, taking bids to do this and do that. We own it. We can operate it not only just to do streets one time a year, but if we see a mess somewhere, we go get it. ITCC, there's so many uses for the thing. It's just that, you know, you're looking at a $15,000 bill, and if Chris follows suit from what he's done in the past, he and Bruce will come up with a price and browbeat that guy into taking it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and
we do so good at getting this equipment and repairing it, getting it up to date and stuff. I think it's just the next step for us.
Right. It's but there are annual maintenance costs that we don't but we do rent one right now. It's is it $1,500 a week, Chris, or is that what you told me, or?
Yeah, it runs 12 to 1,500 a week, depending on what we have for a machine. And I could get the actual details on it, but I know it's ranged in that range for the last few years. It depends on what type of machine you get. Years ago, we used one that was really cheap, and the guy sat on it, and 90% of what he sweat went right around him, and he was pretty dirty at the end of the day. And since I've been here, we've tried to rent enclosed cabs. It's more efficient. The guy's not breathing in all the dust. And this particular machine, and as it turns out, I've only been to look at it one time, just briefly. I have not seen it work. You guys had the opportunity to do that today. So I just want to know if you want me to try to make a deal. I would like to do that because we're running on, we're going to be running into our season. If we're going to rent one, we need to get on the list to rent it. Right. So it's May already, and we're usually on the list by now, and we're not. So
I forgot to mention when we were talking to the guy that has it for sale right now. One of the features about it is once it's used, then you have to open the thing up and you got to blow it down and you got to wash it down. It is a piece of equipment that needs to be cleaned and maintained immediately after use. That was a little bit negative for me because I like to just drive in, do the work, and drive home and leave it. But no, this isn't like that. It's going to have to be fully maintained. And I don't know if you agree, John, but looking at the outside of it, you wouldn't think that it had as many hours on it that it has right now. That motor purrs like a kitten.
Oh yeah, it's a John Deere diesel. It's one of the best. It works very well. I mean, it's much better than the system that we've got right now to do it. And I'm okay with it, but there are some things wrong, and it'd be nice to have that taken care of so we don't pay it and then still have another 1,000 or 2,000 getting it ready, getting it up to operational. And there are some hydraulic leaks, just some little things that would be nice if they were addressed before we took it, unless we can.
Well, I'd like to authorize Chris to go do some talk for us and negotiate and see what we can come up with for a closing cost, the final cost for the thing, and any fixing that you're talking about as well. See if they'll help us with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I assume the front brushes. The brushes are 120 a piece in the front. There's 2 of them. He said you'll go through 3 of those in the time you use it. The main roller brush. But I think everything is good enough this year to be able to use it.
Right, yeah.
But we're going to need to get some things on hand.
Did you want to make a motion, Hadley?
Do we have to do that as a motion for you to negotiate that? Or can you just put it on the agenda to discuss next time?
Well, if you tell me what you want to do, we don't need to make a decision to buy it. If you want me to narrow it down, I'll work on that, so.
Okay, I make a motion that we allow Chris to negotiate for the street sander. Sander, listen to me, sweeper, sorry.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Judy says yes.
John says yes to negotiate. Yes.
Hadley says yes. Super.
It's a vote.
Just one more thing. Then I just remembered. Clarification: is the election going to be at the fire station or at the community center? Would there be more room at the community? Well, would there
Fire
be
station. She put
Fire
on here
station.
the Heartland Fire Station.
Okay.
Yep, just because that's where everybody's used to voting,
Okay.
so. Yeah, we had people actually down looking for a place to vote on Friday,
Oh,
because they didn't realize we canceled the election.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
if we have nothing else, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I've got 2 dogs dancing here. They gotta go out.
Okay.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that motion. Second that motion.
All those in favor? Judy says
Hadley,
yes.
yes.
John, yes.
It is a vote. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you.
See you
Have a
later.
good evening.
Thank
You
you.
too.
See you. Bye.
Better let those dogs out. Good heavens.